but I'm sure Hugo would actually shed light on what they are doing at Passion Pictures in London, besides talking about the work that was done in the Oscar-winning short film The Lost Thing, which, but I guess, was primarily executed at Passion Pictures in Australia. Well, Hugo Sands is the MD and head of production at Passion Pictures, one of Europe's leading production companies. He has worked there since 1991, leading a team producing multi-award-winning animation for commercials, music videos, short films, and cinematics for computer games. Most recently, Passion Pictures won an Oscar for the short film The Lost Thing, and they're perhaps best known internationally for having produced the music video for the animated band Gorillaz. How many of you guys have seen the Gorillaz animation band? Compare the market, featuring a meerkat called Alexander Orlov, who instantly became an iconic and famous character, attracting a huge following on Facebook, and resulting in a spin-off autobiography, pre-Christmas #1 best-selling book. Passion Pictures also have an Oscar-winning documentary division and a recently formed live-action commercials arm. The main studio is in London, with offices in Melbourne, Paris, and New York. Huge round of applause for Hugo, please.
My name is Hugo Sands. I work for Passion Pictures, as Chan just said. This is the first time I've been to India, and it's been a really good experience for me. It's been astonishing, the size of the ambition of the people here, and it's been really interesting seeing the works of the animation schools. And the only problem is everybody's so hospitable that I'm now exhausted. I went out partying last night, and I didn't get home till 3 in the morning, so I've got to remember what I'm doing. We went to see, I was watching with some Indian friends the IPL. I was wondering who I should support, and I thought, because I had friends in Bangalore, we should be supporting them, but then Chris Gale was pretty disappointing, I thought. And then because of the amazing presentation about the visual effects of Robot this morning, I thought, well, maybe I like Chennai. Anyway, when I was invited here, Chan told me that there was this theme, tracing back the pixels, and could I show something that involved pixels? And I thought, well, I'm not a technical person, but I think pixels are pretty integral to the process. But I knew what he meant. He meant this film by Patrick Jean, who's a young French director whom we represent. Now, what I thought I'd do is, what I want to give you is the sense of what working in a commercial studio in London is like, the kind of range of work that we do, the pressures under which we work, and I thought it might be interesting for you guys to know what we're looking for and the kinds of people who end up working with us. Because we have a small studio. A commercial studio is a small studio. It's not like DreamWorks or Rhythm and Hues here in India where they have hundreds of people. I would say we have 40 people on staff. And then sometimes we have 120 people on special projects. But we're not big enough. We don't have internships and formal training programs like these big companies do. But it's a cool place to work because you get to do lots of different things. Not just CG, you do stock frame, you do live action, you do cell animation. And so I thought it might be useful for you guys to know the kinds of films people show us, films by people that we end up hiring. And the reason why I'm happy to show this first film by Patrick Jean is that it's a standout film. This was done by a guy who was very experienced working in post-production. He was a CG animator, he did compositing, but he wasn't a director in his own right, and he did this film, and he was looking for representation as a commercials director. And so there's a guy waving at me at the back there. Are you trying to get my attention? Can somebody see what he wants? So anyway, I'm going to show you this film, and I'm sure you'll agree. You'll see how he has huge promise as a director, and then I'll show you we talked to him because he wanted to do commercials and living and work in London, and so I'll show you the next film he did after that. This is the film. So if you could have the lights down, please, and we'll play this one. That was a pretty impressive debut, and I have to be clear, that wasn't a Passion Pictures movie. That was him making his own movie and then launching himself as a director. Now, I'm not saying in order to be a director you need access to those kind of resources. He obviously worked in post-production already, so he had lots of friends who would help him, and he did a really good job, but you don't need all that in order to get started as a director. That was the first example I thought I'd show you. And of course, we work in commercials and music videos, and we're always looking for interesting projects. And we don't pigeonhole people as CG or as a particular in a particular style or technique. And the first job that we got Patrick Jean, that he went and shot in South America, was very different in style. I'm going to show you that now. How we don't pigeonhole people in their style. How we work is we work for advertising agencies who are our main clients and record companies for music videos. And with advertising agencies, what happens typically is we'll get a script, they'll have a basic idea, they'll say, how would you do this? We'll come up with ideas about how we do it, and we're doing this competitively with other companies, and then they'll choose the idea that they like the best, the treatment, and of course there's a budget and a schedule, and then they'll award you the job. And this all happens at a very accelerated process. You know, we typically, if we have 10 weeks to deliver a job, that's a long time. It's often less than that. But what we try to do is to we try to come up with solutions that are not based on any particular technique. We'll come up with a creative solution that combines several typically. One of our favorite clients is a video games company called Harmonix, and they make a game called Rock Band. And we like them because they give us a lot of freedom. In fact, when they called me first and said that they wanted us to make a short film, they said, you know, it's got to be 3 minutes long, it's got to be about a band, and they want it to be cool, and can they have it in 8 weeks? And I thought, yeah, but what's it about? Is there a script? No, they just want it to be cool. Can you call us, you know, when you've got... And so it sounded good, and that was the way the first one. It wasn't quite the same with this one, because this was the special edition. This was the Beatles edition, and we had to reference all kinds of Beatles designs from the 60s and kind of summarize their career. It was a bit of a sort of awkward task, considering who they are, but I wanted to show it to you because it shows how you can mix CG, 2D, all kinds of different After Effects, all kind of simple techniques with quite sophisticated ones. Well, we were pleased with the results. See what you think. The reason why I like showing that sometimes is because I believe that the CG, computer graphics, computer animation, is a tool. It's a filmmaking tool. I think it's the best graduates from these schools are people who are primarily filmmakers, and CG is just a tool that you use in order to do cool imagery, tell stories, and you need to remember about all the other techniques that there are too. And something like this manages to combine and integrate design and CG and 2D into in a way that I think is hopefully sort of seamless. It sort of feels right. And sometimes though, we were at DSK Superinfocom, and I was very pleased to see that part of the course there in CG is doing plasticine and sculpting and stuff like that, which is something that we're very keen to keep our talent, our crew, working across all these disciplines, and sometimes though it gets a bit out of control, which I will illustrate with this next job, because advertising agency came to us. They wanted us to do animated, colorful rabbits running around New York. And the original idea was to do it CG. But Darren Walsh, our animation director, did some experiments in his garden, which kind of completely took the project in a different direction. I'll show you what I'm talking about right now, and you'll see what I mean. These were just the very original tests. This was literally in his back garden. We hadn't even got the job yet. We were just wondering how to do it. We didn't even know that they should be rabbits. They said they should be animals wandering around. The whole idea is there's a sort of colorful world which connotes the color that you can get in this particular brand of TV set. I'll just show you this test and you'll see what I mean. So that's the simplest possible thing. That's Darren playing around with some ideas in his garden one day. And the only thing about this is it was supposed to be CG, but they liked the idea of these tests so much that they wanted to keep this whole handmade look, and so we ended up doing it in stock frame. And these were all different ideas as to how it would work. The animation. And then they said, okay, more than just a TV film. So at the end, the whole thing, all this plasticine merges into a giant rabbit, which we could have done in CG, but because they wanted it to be an event, we had to build a real 30-foot rabbit, put it on a truck, get a police escort, drive it into Manhattan, and have it there. And I just want to tell you a little bit about the fact that, just to go more on this theme of, it's not just about the tools and the technology and computer animation. You can make, we encourage our animators and directors to bring their 2D skills into CG. So we train 2D skills in CG. We encourage CG animators to become real filmmakers and learn about story and learn about all the people, learn about traditional 2D skills. One of the films it's a commercial. One of the short pieces that I often show young CG animators so that they know how important timing is to humor and to acting was done completely with pencil and paper. That's all it is. And this has been directed by one of our most talented animators, but it's literally his drawings on paper. But you can tell from this how skilled he is. I'll show some other work directed by him, which is more conventional CG, character animation work later. But I just wanted to show you this because I believe it shows how you don't need a great deal of resources to impress people with with skills if you have this kind of talent. I'm going to just quickly find it now because I wanted to just show you the variety of stuff that's possible. But thank you very much for your attention anyway.